I'm not exactly sure. Is it morning? Is it afternoon?
I don't know.
What day is it? Is it Tuesday?
I lost track.
Wednesday, Thursday? I actually don't even know what month it is because I feel like March was 500 days.
Yes.
And yeah, I do know a day that, like, when Grey's Anatomy comes on, I am excited because I'm like, oh, it's Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
I have something to watch on TV now, but it's only like 45 minutes with the commercial breaks. So
That's I wish it was like full 60 minutes, especially now. We need like really good TV for a little bit longer. Now that we're all almost done watching Netflix because there's only that many good shows.
I have one more season left of the show I'm watching, and then I'm a little bit concerned about what I'm going to do with my life. Because I can only watch so many kids shows. I think it's called like, I forget what the kids show. It's like Chip and something. My cousin told me about it, and she said don't start it, but then I did start it, and now I regret. I should have listened to her counsel. But
did you get sucked into it, or is it because your kids got sucked into it?
And it's really annoying. It's so annoying. Don't watch it.
Just add another TV to the house, and then you can have the kids' room.
That's a good idea.
Is that a good idea?
Yeah.
Is that good parenting, or is that bad parenting?
It encourages isolation.
Exactly. That's perfect. Yes. Social distancing.
Which I'm wondering, like, I say quarantine, but I guess quarantine is not the politically correct thing to call it. But I feel quarantined because when I go to the store, I'm like nervous about everyone I see. I have my thing of Clorox wipes. I don't have my Lysol can. I haven't gotten that crazy yet, but I've thought about it.
It's coming.
It is coming.
Kat.
I have like a secret one that I should probably encase in ice so no one can get to it easily. But anyways, and then my hand sanitizer. So I go in and I wipe my whole cart down, and then I sanitize my hands, and I don't touch my face, so I'm like doing this, going through. And then I grab I'll grab a can of something, I'll wipe it down with Clorox, and I'll put it in. I even do it with like my veggies. And then when I get home, I soak my veggies.
Wait. Do you wipe your veggies down with Clorox wipes?
I do. The funny thing is I'm also like, I really like organic food, so it kind of is weird. I'm sure all the ladies are judging me in the aisle.
I'm judging you. No, I'm just kidding.
But I don't care because I'm doing my best not to get it.
No, that's okay. Okay.
I'm the one that when you get 6 feet close to me, I'm like, hi. Or if I see someone, I'm like, hello, and I just keep moving. Even though I love people so much, I also prefer to stay healthy, and I don't trust anyone right now, especially in the grocery store. So that's how I do it.
It's funny because I am completely opposite to that, and I don't know why, but like I'm aware, right, what's happening. I see the posters on the doors that say, keep your distance, try to stay away from other people and keep like the 6 feet, stay 6 feet away from other people, but I forget about it. So I'll go into Cashwise and I'm like going about my life as if nothing has changed, and all of a sudden like, oh wait, Marta,
I would be
too
judging
close?
you.
I'm like, am I too close to that person? Should I wait until they go over to the other aisle? Like, are they gonna be mad at me? Are they gonna yell at me? Like, what's gonna happen? And it's funny that I'm just not, like, I bought all the Clorox wipes that I needed. Not all of them. I just bought a few things of Clorox wipes. I did not buy them all out. Let's just make it clear.
I did the same thing. Because I didn't have some. Because I thought it was all about natural stuff.
Well,
now I'm not.
I have the thieves, too. I have it all. Am I using it? Barely. Sean and I and the kids went to Walmart and Menards just to get few essentials for house projects. And I did Sean and I both used the hand sanitizer like the second we got in the car, which is something we don't ever do. I should have given my kids the hand sanitizer, but I forgot. So let's just be honest. This is me taking it seriously, but not taking it seriously on all levels, or just forgetting, because it's not like I on purpose ignore those things. I just don't think about it. It's not in my head. So it's interesting to hear that, like, I would say that you're typically more relaxed than I am. Like, I know,
that's why it's weird.
Crazy person for most.
Like, I hold my kids down, and I'm like, you have to sanitize. And they're like, I don't want to, Mommy. I'm like, it's lotion. Put it on.
Yes.
Really. And then I'm like, okay, let's go wash our hands now.
Yes.
And then Kaylin comes home from work, and I just look at him. You need to go get in the shower now. Did you sanitize? This morning he got off his night shift, and the first thing I said, did you wash your hands?
It's very interesting to me how different, like how we're all just very so different, right? And like we look at it differently. We have different routines that we have created out of this crazy thing that's happening around us. And on top of that, now that it was, I think at first we were like, oh, it's just a few weeks of that. Like, we can survive it. It's
Yeah.
just a few weeks. And now, well, it's for sure until April 30th. And, like, when that was on the news the other day, I'm like, oh, wow.
I was expecting it, but to hear it actually be said, it was just like, it broke my heart. Because I do love people, and now it's starting to become more, before it was kind of like a staycation. It was like, oh, this is so nice. Like, we don't have to do anything. But now I'm realizing there's nothing. Nothing. There's no baby showers. There's no human interaction. There's no waving at someone at church. And it's just like,
Hey, you could,
so
like,
sad.
you could drive around town in your
I'm
car
going
and
to.
then, like, honk when you pass people that, like, you know where people live for most part, right? Around, like, the people that you know, like
I
your
think
friends,
so.
people from our
I don't know
church.
if I want them to
You
know I
could
know where
come
they
by
live.
my house and
That
honk
might
and
be weird.
wave, and we'll wave
That's
at each
true.
other, like, through the
I'll
windows.
come talk to you through your doorbell.
Like, hi. That is a very good idea.
I do that to
I
my
have not thought
parents.
about it. The doorbell that's
Because I don't know my parents' code to their house, no matter how hard I try. So I'm always like ringing the doorbell, like, let me in. I trained my daughter. Now she does the same thing.
That is really funny.
But that's kind of why I'm in pajamas, because, I mean, I'm just sad.
I actually put my jumpsuit on today. This never happens.
Yeah.
The loungewear, that is not my thing. That's not how I was raised. I did not, like, when I was a little girl, we would get up, like, on Saturday. Let's say it was Saturday, and we thought, oh, we can just hang out and relax. And our dad was like, by 8:30 or 9 o'clock, everybody has to be in their clothes. Everybody's out of their PJs. And I didn't own a pair of sweatpants until I graduated high school and moved to the States and started, like, my freshman year in college. Like, I didn't, that was just not, and it's not that, like, I don't see it as there's something wrong with it. It's just, it's different. And so, like, now, like, wearing loungewear is so weird for me. So I want to make sure that it's like, well, if I'm going to wear it, I want it to be, like, cute, you know? Like, I'm still going to put my earrings on. I'm still going to do my hair and my makeup, because that just, like, I think it boosts my confidence and makes me feel a little better. It's like I have a sense of normal, right? And so it's funny how it's different. But I like your loungewear.
Well,
your
the only
PJs.
reason, like, this is done is because you're watching. And
Just for you. I mean,
I just
really.
wanted to not scare you like I scare my husband every morning. So
Well, every time I don't put makeup on, this is why I put makeup on. I mean, I love makeup, but my boys, if I don't put makeup on, I tell you, every time they're like, Mommy, what's wrong? Are you sick? Are you not feeling good? And I get self-conscious about it. And Sean always gets after them like, no, like, stop saying that. That's not nice. That's not what we do. But I'm like, this is why I put makeup on, so my kids don't think I'm sick. Because apparently I look sick without makeup on, so whatever.
Today I was getting ready, and because, I haven't really worn makeup. I guess I put on some yesterday, but I haven't, like, done the full face thing and the hair in, like, a week. And so anyways, my daughter comes out. She's like, okay, I'm all packed up, and she had, like, a hat on. And if you've ever seen my daughter, she has a very wild sense of fashion, and I just let her express it. She has 3 bags currently that she's carrying all over the house because I don't know where she's going. But we asked her, we're like, so Addie, where are you going? And she was like, well, I think I'm going to stay here for a little while, and then I'm going to go get some plants. I'm like, okay.
That is a good idea.
I was concerned she was going to ask to come with me, because I was like, no, you cannot go into the world. You must continue being quarantined.
Stay away from everybody.
Yes, you can go to one of 2 places, actually one of 3 places. And then even then, I'm always like, so how are you guys feeling at your house? Like, who's been there? Have you sanitized? Do you have
really
sanitizer
funny.
still?
I love that she said she's going to get some plants, because I feel like I
Yeah.
can relate to that. Like, that makes me happy. Buying plants makes, like, I wish we could go buy flowers and plant flowers now, but it's too early because it's going to snow again.
I know.
So, but, like, I wish we could do those things, So it's very cute. So we're on day, like, what, 16? What day of this social
I
distancing?
think
we're on?
16 of infinity.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I hope it doesn't last too long, but for me, homeschooling is, like, we talked about it last week a little bit, but yesterday
We're another week into it.
I know, and I got home yesterday, and I sat down with Jackson to do school, and he had plenty of time to play, so I figured it shouldn't be as difficult, and I literally, like, had tears in my eyes doing school with him, because he is just he just wants to play. Like for him, he's at home. He doesn't want to sit down and do school. And trying to explain to a 5-year-old why it's important and that all his friends are doing that. And it's just hard. And I just had this sense of like, this is never going to end. Like we're going to do this until summer starts. Hopefully not. Hopefully our kids can go back to school before that happens. But
at least to see their teachers.
right,
like, one last
and
time.
say goodbye. And it's just all of it. Like I keep watching these videos of teachers making like songs, like funny songs for their students. And they're supposed to be for fun and funny. And I sit there and cry. Like it makes me cry because it makes me so sad for all the kids and their teachers and just the change that they're experiencing. And a lot of them are not handling well. And I know that there's a lot of moms that are struggling with teaching their kids at home. I have one child and he's 5. I can't imagine if you have multiple children in different grades and how you're handling it. And so, because it is hard.
Yeah.
It's a hard transition. And
I don't know how I would do. Thankfully, Addie's not in school yet because I was like, I don't know what our life would look like. It would be really hard. And she's a very strong-willed child, so.
It's just, it's interesting. And I know we're all going to make it. Like, we have to make it, right? Like, and
there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
I keep thinking, we have to wait until April 30th at least, right? But then I'm like, well, that's just a month, right? Like, we can do it. It's just a month. It's 30 days. So
kind of, I think I'll start thinking that way, like Friday. When I get dressed.
So I've always been a fan of Jimmy Fallon's show, and I don't know if you guys.
I did record it last night because you were telling me about it.
It is, and now that like he has to record everything from his home, and his children are there, and his wife is there, and so Sean and I were watching that show the other night, and Jimmy Fallon created a hashtag that's called "I knew I had cabin fever when," and then he had people submit their answers, and Kat and I pulled a few funny ones for you. Like last week we did the funny memes, and this week we wanted to do something a little different but also equally hilarious. So I have 3, Kat has 3, and we're just going to share them with you. The first one is, I knew I had cabin fever when I got excited about taking out the trash. I'm pretty sure that's my husband. Like my husband could relate to that. Like, woohoo, I get to go outside and take trash out. Right?
Okay. I knew I had cabin fever when Netflix no longer even bothered to ask me if I was still watching.
You know, but I think they stopped. Did they stop doing that? Or is it still asked? I need to pay attention next time
I know for my kids' shows, it'll do it sometimes, and then the trance will be broken, and it's usually when I'm, like, about to get in the shower or go take a nap, and they're like, Mom! Like, screaming at me. Both of them.
Yeah, that's really funny. I can relate to that. That happens to us, too. I knew I had cabin fever when the cat was so tired of me when he went in the spare room and shut the door. My cats, I'm pretty sure, like when they just lay there on the bed with me and they stare at me, I'm pretty sure they're like, why are you always here?
Yeah.
Why are you always here? Like you never used to be here. We used to have this quiet time without Jackson at home because he's crazy. And now we're always there. And it's like they're trying extra hard to find quiet spots around the house. It's really funny.
My cat just wants to be outside all the time right now. She comes in and she sees my children, and then she literally walks to the door and looks at me. And I'm like, do you want to go back outside?
See, the pets are suffering also.
I like this one because this is actually my husband. Jazzy Cup, I like that name. Anyways, I knew I had cabin fever when just kidding. I'm an introvert. I never had cabin fever.
That is awesome.
But that's nice.
I'm pretty sure all the introverts are like, this is awesome. Like, we actually can stay inside. Don't have to go anywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Caitlin's like, you know what? You should just cancel everything that you usually do because it's really nice to just be home and with each other. I said, yeah, but I like having a life. Like, this is nice for now, but you're going to hate me in 4 weeks. It's going to be bad.
Oh, that's so funny. I knew I had cabin fever when I showered and dressed up to go sit on my couch. I mean, listen, we all got to do what we can to feel normal. Even if it's just like, you know, going and sitting on your couch. Like, you get out of your PJs, you put normal clothes on, you shower, you get ready. Somebody there, they told me they did their nails for church, which was funny because we did church online, and I thought it was awesome. That is great.
I
So,
should
yeah.
do mine.
Hey, me too.
That's why I'm
I
wearing
know.
closed-toed shoes, because can't get a pedicure now, so no one is seeing those
No.
until this thing's over. Okay. Did you have any more? Or was that your last
No,
one?
that was my last one.
All right. So this one, I think many of us can relate to the first part. So when I ate all of my emergency snacks, I started taking labels off of canned goods for surprise dinners. I knew I had cabin fever when I love this idea. Which is actually, it kind of reminds me this morning, my mom, Melanie, she was sharing with us about, because she went through quarantine long before it was a hashtag or a thing. And my father was in the Navy, so he would go on ships for a long time, and like 6 months, I think was the longest, maybe longer. Well, she had 3 of us at that point, and if you've met my child, like my children, I was worse than them, and she not only had me, but she had 2 more.
Poor
And
Melanie.
I know, for real. I tell her I'm sorry all the time. But she said that what she did was she picked one thing, and she did it well. One thing she could control, and she did it well. And it was really encouraging, because I like to control things, even though I try to let go. So it's been messing with my anxiety a lot. But I realized there is one thing we're doing, and that's we're cooking dinner every night, and we're eating at the table with no phones, no tablets. We've done this actually every single day until Kaylin started nights last night, and we still did it. So it's just kind of a neat habit that we're getting into that I know my kids are. They actually come and sit at the table when I say dinner's almost ready, and so it's a neat feeling for me to have that.
And it's cool because you can take it with you even when, when our lives return to normal. It's like you're creating new culture in your family and new traditions in your family that you can take with you. And so, for me, I think the one thing that I've been trying to control just for my own sanity, right? Or like to have that sense of comfort is like teaching my son, right? Because I don't want to do it. Like, let's be honest. Every day I wake up and I'm like, oh, I have to do home. And again, it's not that I don't like spending time with him or something like that. I just like it's a different relationship that we have to develop that's very hard to develop or has been very hard. And so I just, no matter how I feel, I just need to make sure every day that he's supposed to do school, that I sit down with him and we print all the sheets and look through this school app and watch the videos together and even do the reading. Because for me, sometimes I'm like, oh, the optional stuff is not important. No, like he needs to learn how to read. And so like I still have to sit down with him. And, the resources that the school has given to the kids are amazing. And
That's
I'm so grateful for that. And so I just want to make sure that that's the thing, that like if there's one thing that I can pick out of everything that I can have control over, that I can do very well is doing school with Jackson, even though I don't want to. And so and so it's been good. It's been challenging, but I totally like the control thing is for me, like it's very like a big thing for me.
Last night I had to talk myself down because I was starting to panic and I could feel my blood pressure and my heart rate going, and I called my sister, and then I called my mom because my husband was working, and I texted him. He's like, I can't talk right now. So it was nice to have those outlets to just be real with and be like, this is what's going on. I just need to talk to you.
Right, yeah.
And it was so good. And pray. Then I turned on that Spotify account, that Faith Over Fear, and that helped too, just to.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's a lot of stuff going on.
It is a lot. It is a lot, and there's a lot of people who are experiencing like incredible levels of anxiety. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said, I can't imagine like if so many of us who have never dealt, which I have dealt with anxiety, but there are people who have never dealt with anxiety or depression or never had like irrational fears are experiencing those right now. I can't imagine what it is for those who have lived with that, for like how much worse it is right now. And it's been kind of like making me think of like, what can we do to help? Like, how can we help those that are struggling with that? And how can we be an encouragement? And it's kind of brings me to what I wanted to share, like just at the end of this time with you ladies, is that Anxiety has been something that I have dealt with for most of my life. I didn't realize it for, I would say for half of my life. I didn't realize that that's what it was. I didn't put a label on it. And so I just wanted to share with you a little bit about it and just my story and what I've been doing to stay encouraged and how to cope with it. And just quickly, I didn't really realize that what I was experiencing in my life was anxiety until I became a mom. Like, I always thought that I just had like irrational fears and was just a super nervous person who like would get physically sick over things that like weren't a big deal. And then I became a mom, and I went from like just those nervous situations to all of a sudden experiencing crippling fear over things like the health of my children and flying on an airplane. Like, I used to love flying. When I was a kid, I loved flying. When I moved to the States, however many years ago, it was a long time ago, I loved flying. I was actually looking forward to getting on an airplane and being on the airplane for 9 hours. Like, it was the coolest thing ever. And then I had Hudson. And the first flight we took, I was terrified. It was like I could not, like, my stomach was hurting me. I just wanted to cry. I didn't know how to cope with that. And then what ended up happening is I ended up not going home for like a few years because of that. And I remember like always coming up with, my mom would be like, why aren't you coming? Like, we'll pay for your ticket. I'm like, no, Mom, I don't have time, or this. And finally I had to admit to myself, I'm not going to visit my family, not because I don't care about them, but because I'm scared of getting on that airplane. And it was admitting that was very helpful, because then I was like, okay, so I need to do something about it. And I found different ways of coping with fear and anxiety. I reached out to my doctor, and I asked for, something to help me, some medication to help me with it. And so over the years, I kind of developed ways to deal with it. But now we're in this like new weird normal, right? That we all have to get used to. And I all of a sudden don't know how to deal with it anymore. And I thought I had all these skills and tools, and now I have to like relearn how to deal with it. And I shared last week a little bit that it seems like I'm doing fine until I'm not, and I'm laying in bed, freaking out. And I'm laying there, and I'm like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen to our family? What's gonna happen to our friends? And I can barely catch a breath, and my heart is racing. And I'm imagining worst case scenarios. And then as a result of that, I'm not sleeping. I have headaches that take me out for multiple hours. I am like freaking out on my kids for no reason because I'm
totally
tired.
relate to this. I mean, 100%.
It's crazy how that, like, it affects anxiety, affects your, physical health, your mental health, and then everything else in your life.
Sometimes it feels like the world is just closing in, or your skin just crawls.
Right.
And, it's so hard.
Right. And like the little stressors in life, like all of a sudden are big things. And so I've been trying to pay attention to that. And whenever I try to find ways to cope with anxiety and fear and stress in general, my goal is always to turn to the Word of God. And it doesn't always happen. A lot of times I like freak out completely before I'm like, I should have just gone and like sat down and spent some time with the Lord. But so it's the Word of God, and then my YouVersion app. Like, I don't know if you use it a lot, but I love the YouVersion app. You can read your Bible in whatever translation is available. There's countless devotionals available.
I did their read through the Bible in a year, I think.
Yeah, it's such a great resource for us, especially now that we can't meet together. Like, but it's a great resource for devotional.
Free.
Yeah, and it's free. So I've been reading through all the fear, anxiety devotionals like a crazy person. I mean, it's been good. It's my way of coping, right? And so there's one question that came up in one of the devotionals I was reading the other day, and it's, what if your anxiety can bring you closer to Jesus? And what if we stop just praying for it to go away, but instead focus on developing a stronger relationship with Him? And because when I'm laying in bed, freaking out, and my heart is racing, and I can't calm down, all I want in that moment is for God to take it away. I'm not asking God, help me get stronger. Right? Help me be like in a deeper relationship with you. I'm like, no, God, take it away, because I'm sick of dealing with it. And then I read in 2 Corinthians 12, Paul is pleading with Jesus to take away his thorn in the flesh. And none of us really know what that thorn was, right, for Paul, but anxiety feels like a thorn for me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to that. And so Paul pleaded with Jesus 3 times for Jesus to take it away, and Jesus didn't take it away. Instead, he says in verse 9, "My grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness." And just that grace of Jesus is sufficient no matter what we're experiencing and what we're going through. And so we can pray for healing, and we can pray that God takes our anxiety and fear away. But I think we should also use that time when we go through those difficult circumstances to get closer to Jesus. And so instead of just praying for peace, let's draw closer to the Prince of Peace.
I
And
love that.
when
That's really good. I wish I had heard this yesterday.
And when you, it's
My
funny,
prayers would have been a lot different than they were.
I should have just shared it with you. And when you start worrying about your future and what's going to happen to your family and to your friends, remind yourself that our God is the Alpha and Omega. He's the beginning and the end. He is the first and the last. And we can experience that overwhelming, loving presence of Jesus and that peace that transcends all understanding, even in the middle of all of it. And in the middle of our panic attacks that we experience, and in the middle of the uncertainty about our jobs and health and everything else. And so I hope that like all of you feel encouraged by that, because I feel like it's those simple truths, right, that like bring us back to where we need to be. And because we're not alone, we have each other, and even if we can't meet together, like we can pray for each other, and we can talk about our struggles, and just remember that it's okay to say you're not okay. Because we're all, we're Christians, and sometimes I feel like there's this pressure of like, I can't tell anybody that I experience fear and that I don't experience peace all the exactly. But no, that's normal, and it's what we do about it, right? And how we deal with it, and who we reach out to when we're experiencing that. And so,
well, it's kind of nice, like after talking to my sister and my mom, just saying. It was really, I sent a text first, like, I'm not okay. I am struggling today. I can't be as strong as I want to be right now. And it just, like, I felt when I confessed that to them, it was just like, okay, now let's deal with it. It was just saying it really helped me instead of just internalize it and take it out on my kids or on my husband. It's just like,
And then you also, you're creating a circle of people around you that can now support you and encourage you and keep you accountable if needed, and I think it's very important to do that. And we have a great resource on staff, which is Pastor Matt, who is actually, he's studying to be a counselor, and he has such great tools for anxiety and very practical ways to do it. And so we're either going to post a video with him sharing about that, or we can maybe even invite him to have coffee with us next week. And
that would be fun.
Because I think I think we should take advantage of that. I like his ways of dealing with anxiety, the way like he has helped me, because our Hudson deals with anxiety, and so I have asked him a few questions of how can I help him, what are like the practical things you can do in the moment where you're experiencing it, and he has a lot of great ideas that work, and so we want you to hear about those, and so we will figure out a way to put it in front of you. So
6 feet apart.
6 feet apart. Well, he can sit like somewhere there, maybe on the floor.
Over
something, And so stay tuned. We'll let you know. So it was fun hanging out with all of you ladies again, and
I guess I'll go get dressed. Get dressed this week.
Right, I'll go put my normal clothes on. Take my jumpsuit off, put jeans on.
Even if it's around the house. I don't mean you need to wear jeans because your sweatpants lie. So
it goes along with eating all the snacks all at once in one day. So again, we love you ladies, and we're praying for you, and if there's anything we can help you with and any specific prayer requests you have, you can post them under this video or message us. Call us, and or text us too if you don't like calling.
Then we can see if we actually got dressed.
Right. So we just want you to know that we're here for you, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.